What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
So my ex-boyfriend and I had just recently broke up, and I was asking him what happened, and he looked at me and he said, "You're just a lot of work." And yeah, I think about that a lot. Just a lot of work.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
I was told that there's a difference between the things that boost your ego and the things that actually make you happy. And ever since I've been trying to figure out which ones are which.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
I'm a brunette naturally, and so I dye my hair blonde. And during COVID, I wasn't going out as much, so I was like really struggling to justify spending so much money dyeing my hair blonde. And I asked a few of my friends, like, should I go back brunette? Like, should I stay blonde? Like, what do you think? And one of my guy friends said to me, a hot brunette is hotter than a hot blonde, but an average blonde is hotter than an average brunette. And then followed that comment with, you should stay blonde. And that really resonated with me.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
So I guess we're going to be on Dead Brother TikTok today. Back in 2015, January, my dad retired from the police force, and so everybody was home. All of the siblings, all 6 of us. So we all went out to the bar. It was the first time we'd been together in a while. Like, I don't think that had ever happened. Anyway, I was DD, so I was getting really annoyed with all the drunk people. My brother went outside. I followed him out there. He leaned up against the wall, and I looked at him and I said, "Hey, bro, I'm really worried about you." He gave me a half smirk and he said, "Don't worry about me, I'm fine." I immediately got frustrated with him because I knew he'd been struggling with his PTSD. So I said, "Don't tell me you're fine when I know you're not." So his smile kind of fades away and he says, when you're walking down the road and there's buildings and there's windows and all the windows are covered and you're just trying to figure out which window they're behind ready to take you out. And I was like, whoa, that's not reality. And he said, that's my reality. And it was at that point that I really had more of an understanding of what PTSD was and what his service in the Marine Corps did to him. Check in your vet.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
So I learned this about 25 years ago, I think. And it was never let someone borrow something you couldn't afford to give them. If I can't afford to give it to you, then I can't afford to let you borrow it. Because when you get it from me, it's yours. It belongs to you. If I get it back, it's a blessing. But if I don't, I didn't lose anything. And if you don't respect that, if you don't respect that that's what I live by, then I probably shouldn't be letting you borrow what you're trying to get in the first place.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
I had a boss once tell me, to be early is to be on time is to be late, and to be late is unacceptable. And I have raised my kids to think the same way.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
They told me if I keep eating pickles like that, I was going to grow up to suck dick. They was right.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
I love this one. You will never be criticized by someone who is doing more than you. Most likely you're being criticized by someone who is doing less.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
So I was a junior in high school. We had this thing called Urban Challenge where we went into Camden, New Jersey, and we lived there for 4 days. And we did excursions to different places. We helped build homes and a bunch of other things. One of the places that I went to was called New Visions. New Visions was a homeless shelter that specialized in helping people with HIV and AIDS. On the second floor, they had a game room. I spent most of my time up there. I pulled out a chessboard and started just setting it up. I expected one of my classmates to play with me. But a homeless man walked up to me, asked if he could play. I was super uncomfortable. To be honest, I was not open-minded back then, but after this I was. Even though I was uncomfortable, I said yeah, he could play. I was decent at chess, not a grandmaster or anything, but I was good. This guy put me in checkmate without me even knowing. And he says, you gotta look at all the pieces on the board. Stands up, starts walking away, puts his hand on my shoulder. I'm not talking about the game.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
Probably like, get out of my house, you don't live here.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
So my adoptive mom would constantly called me a narcissist. She would tell me that I hated her and my adoptive father when that wasn't true. She told me that I was the only person in that house that she had a problem with when that really wasn't true. And the worst thing is, if I brought something up to her that she had said that hurt my feelings, she would look at me and pretend like it never happened. She would tell me that I was making it up. And I think that was the worst part, to be invalidated by, like, your own mom, which is gaslighting. But the words that she would say, it felt like my heart was going through acupuncture. Every little thing. So I started keeping a journal of everything that she would say and do, because I literally felt like I was going crazy. I still have those journals to this day, but the words that she would say stick with me.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
I was either 9 or 10, but I was in 3rd grade. I was playing travel baseball, and I got tagged out stealing a base, and my dad, after the game, looked at me and was like, dude, what the fuck happened when you were stealing that base? And I thought I was fast. And he's like, bro, you run bases like you have elephant shit in your pants. And ever since that day, yeah, it's just been a different type of running for me.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
Just because you have lost me as a friend does not mean you have gained me as an enemy. I still want to see you eat, just not at my table.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
My Uncle Larry used to give me goodnight kisses on my wee-wee, and he said, if you tell your mother, I will fucking kill you.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
Years ago, I was going through a really difficult time. I decided to go to church, but I didn't know any churches in the area, so I just picked one out of the phone book, I think. Anyway, midway through the service, I started crying, and I thought I was just about ready to get up and leave when the woman in front of me, a total stranger, reached her hand back and found mine, and she squeezed it. And she said, I don't know what's going on, but it's going to be okay. I don't know what her name is. I left after church, but that happened over 25 years ago, and I've never forgotten it. And to this day, I still try to pay it forward.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
So I'm in a group discussion with a bunch of friends, having a really vulnerable discussion about relationships. You know, nothing's off limits, no judgment. And this girl said something that really just struck me. She was talking about how disheartening it is as a woman to identify greatness in a man and be in a relationship with him for years, and then having to have the realization that he's never going to do anything about it. And it just struck me, like, it's not a matter of whether or not they believe in us. It's not a matter of whether or not they have seen what we are capable of. But there comes a point in the relationship where either the man is becoming who he's supposed to be, and she's been that driving force and motivation behind him that believed in him, or he finds himself going through a breakup, wondering what's happened because things are as good as they've ever been. What's changed? Nothing's changed. It's that she's tried and tried and tried, and she's grown weary and waiting for you to do what she knows you're capable of, and she's decided that you probably never will, and she's moving on.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
I was bullied throughout the entirety of my school life, and when I was in year 5, there was a group of 4 girls that just bullied me unrelentlessly. They would beat me up. They would destroy my belongings. They called me all sorts of horrible names. They made my life an absolute misery. And I told my parents, and my parents told the school, and the school decided to send me to the counsellor. You know, not the girls that were bullying me, but they sent me to the counsellor. They did confront the bullies, and of course, because there were 4 of them, they were like, no, we didn't do that. She's lying. Alex is lying. So when I went to my first counselling session, the counsellor said to me, maybe if you weren't such a liar, the other girls wouldn't bully you. And that'll stick with me forever. And that's what I experienced all the way through school. They will take the kid that's traumatized and give them help, not the kids that are bullying them.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
So back in 2011, I had just graduated from college with a business degree, and I was aspiring to be a manager for the Home Depot. One day, my store manager and I were walking around. His name is Dave. And he thanked every single customer for coming in, whether they needed help or not. And after we helped about 20 people or so, I asked him, hey, why do you do that? He said, just do it from this point forward. And one of these days, it'll come to fruition on why I do it. So fast forward about 4 years later, I'm at a different Home Depot. I'm in the light bulb aisle, and I see this old man, and he's shaking like really bad. He's got a light bulb pack in each hand, and he's trying to read the label. I asked him if he needed help. And so, I take the bulbs from him and I figure out exactly what he needs at that point in time. And as he turns to walk away, I said, "Hey, thanks for coming in." He turned and he stopped shaking. His Parkinson's stopped shaking. He said, "You're the first person that's thanked me for my business in so long."